Final update. At my dad's retirement barbecue, I gave him a Rolex engraved with, "Thank you for everything." He looked at me and said, "Do you think money can buy love? You'll always be last." I smiled, took the gift and walked away. His face turned pale. My mom yelled, "Come back." That morning, my phone exploded with 71 missed calls from my parents to return everything, and then they screamed when they found out what I did next. I left the cafe without finishing my coffee. At home I opened the files. There were scanned copies of policies from the early 2000s. One had my name. Another had Laura's. The beneficiaries. My mother and father. And in the notes section of one, someone had handwritten, "Untraceable if overseas." I felt the blood drain out of me. This wasn't just greed anymore. This wasn't just humiliation or revenge or theft of inheritance. This was darker. They had plans, backup plans, contingencies. And then I remembered something. A trip they took in 2018, to Belize. Supposed to be a vacation. They stayed an extra 3 weeks. No explanation. No photos. Just silence. At the time I thought they were trying to get back together. Now I wasn't so sure. That night I called Laura. "We were never just insurance," I said. "We were the exit strategy." And she didn't argue. Because she knew. They never planned to give us anything. They were planning to leave. I couldn't sleep after that night. I kept thinking about that policy. About Belize. About that strange comment my father had made on the voicemail. I'm not the only one who knows things. My mind went to places I didn't want to go. Did they ever seriously think about it? About cashing in, pretending, starting over? I didn't want to believe it. But at that point, I didn't trust them to water a plant. Let alone value someone's life over a payout. I met with our attorney again. We handed over the flash drive, went over the insurance documents, and began the process of legally freezing all the policies. He also pointed out something even more unexpected. The theft of trust, combined with the potential fraud and harassment, was enough to warrant full criminal charges. We didn't press charges. Not yet. We gave them a deadline. It wasn't about money anymore. Laura and I didn't need it. We wanted a clean break, no house, no apology, no vague Christmas phone calls asking for help. Just a legal, documented, irreversible end. The terms were simple. They would relinquish all access to both trust accounts. They would provide signed affidavits admitting financial wrongdoing. They leave the state for good. No phone calls, no emails, no threats. We gave them 7 days. On the 4th day they agreed. No fighting, no denial, just a single email. Send the papers. I didn't ask why they gave in so easily. I didn't want to know. But then something even stranger happened. 2 days after the signing, my dad sent a final message. Not to me, to Laura. It was a scam letter, typed, with no greeting. Just one paragraph. We thought we were building something strong. We didn't realize we were pouring concrete around our own feet. "Tell your brother we lost the game." The moment he smiled and walked away without the watch. She forwarded it to me without comment. I read it once and deleted it. I haven't heard from her since. Last I checked, her house was sold below market value. The HOA fined them for disrupting the community. Their names no longer appear on any escrow documents. Their accountant dropped them. And me, I donated the Rolex. Quietly, no story, no plaque, no ego, just gone. Because in the end, it wasn't about proving a point. It was about cutting the cord they thought they'd wrapped around my neck, and when it snapped, it was silent. Permanent. Just the way it had to be. Mini update, 1 year later. It's been almost a year since everything went down. I wasn't planning on doing an update, but a couple of things happened recently that made me think it was time. First, I got a letter. Not an email. An actual handwritten letter in an envelope with no return address, postmarked from Oregon. I knew the handwriting. It was my mother's. Just 2 pages. The first half was the usual guilt-ridden language about how they only did what they thought was necessary. How they never stopped loving us. Even when we became strangers. I didn't even finish it. But the second page was different. It said, "You think you know everything, but your father didn't tell you what he did with the rest." That line stayed with me. No context. Just that. I did some checking, contacted our lawyer again, and it turns out there is a third account, offshore. Not in her name directly, but tied to the same shell company used in the trust sephoning. No money in it anymore, but it existed. Which means there could be more. Laura and I have talked about it. For now, we're letting it go. We're not going to chase it anymore. Some things aren't worth tearing apart, especially when the people behind them are already living like ghosts. I haven't heard from either of them since. No birthdays. No holidays. No nothing. But I still check the mail now and then, just in case. If you followed the story all the way to the end, what do you think? Was Tom right to cut them off? Should he have gone even further, or held back? And what about that last letter? Was there something more behind it? Share your thoughts in the comments. How would you have handled it? And if the story kept you hooked, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. There's more where this came from.